Hey, Scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and I'm here with the June 2nd, 2025 new product release from Creative Memories. The main feature of this week's release, or this first of the month, is the Deeper in the Woods collection. Now, this is a collection that is basically a refreshed version of one we had a few years ago called Deep in the Woods. So it's very similar. I don't have any Deep in the Woods left to compare it to see how exactly similar it is. But if you liked that one, if you do a lot of nature pictures, you're gonna love this one. So of course, we always start with an album cover. This is the Deeper in the Woods album cover. It's on forest green book cloth with a green matte forest finish. All right, very subtle, very, very nice, very naturey. You know, some of our album covers are a little bit more bold and dramatic, but I really like this one, you know, for my hiking friends. Then there's two paper packs. The first one is the Deeper in the Woods designer paper pack. 12 sheets, double-sided, 2 each of each design. Of course, it tells you what the coordinating cardstock is: beige, hot fudge, parakeet shimmer, avocado, and dark green. Now, let me zoom down a little bit. This is like a birch trees, I guess, like the, you know, not the logs, the trunks. And then a stripe, and it's a little, like a tiny stripe, like 3 little stripes that make up each bigger stripe. So, you know, a little hard on the eyes by itself, but, you know, along as a border or as part of a border, I think that would be lovely. Then we've got some all over tree boughs, pine boughs, and this one's a little more cartoony, kind of leaves and acorns. All right, so those two are front and back. Then we've got a wood grain, nice and versatile, and then a birch wood grain. Are they birch trees? I don't know. My mom is very naturey and loves to go hiking, and all of a sudden my brain is saying aspen, but I don't think they're aspens. All right, these look like little polka dots, but if you look closely, I think they're like little acorn shapes, but I think you could get away with using this as a polka dot. It's almost just like a little triangle shape. And then, ooh, I like this one. It's kind of a surreal almost with the tree background. This definitely looks like mountainy hiking places. Another one that's a little bit more cartoony with the leaves. I don't see acorns, but lots of different kinds of leaves. And this is kind of a yellowish green. I would say it's more yellow than green. If we put it next to the green album cover, maybe we'll see the yellow a little bit better. You know, my phone light's trying to compensate for whatever and make up colors on its own, but it's a little bit more of a yellowy green. And then the back are these little pine trees. So you get this green of a pine tree, and then that yellow is kind of the bat, kind of that yellowy, more of an autumn color, but definitely all naturey colors. And then a gingham, which, you know, isn't quite a plaid, but of course we have a plaid and the gingham. And I kind of like that they're front and back of each other, because I think you could actually use these two on the same layout. And I love layouts where you can use front and back. All right, so that's the designer paper. And then we have the textured designer paper. And this one is all like photorealistic, which is really cool, but it can be a bit much sometimes. So, you know, use it carefully and sparingly. So this is like a tree trunk. It's just like a tree trunk. It is a tree trunk. Sorry, a little 80s coming into my language. And this is also tree bark, but it almost to me looks like peeling paint. I think we've seen this one before, and it's probably nature, but it looks like peeling paint to me. We've got some like a wood pile, ends of cut wood on this side, and some ferns. I guess it depends on where you're going hiking in the woods. I have 3 separate friends who independently of each other have gone to Costa Rica in the last 6 months. And I just think it's interesting, but I feel like you could use this for Costa Rica. Some pine cones. You could also use this like in the winter if you're, you know, building a fireplace in your fireplace or something. That's about as close to nature as I get. Some more of those birch trees. Are these birch trees? I hope my mom doesn't watch these, because she would be very sad to know how little I know about nature. So pine cones and the birch trees. And this is like a cross section of a big old tree. My husband does woodworking, and he would know. He could be able to tell me all sorts of cool things about this. And then this looks like bricks with moss on it. Kind of cool. A nice bright green compared to even like the fern leaves. And then just some wood panels, always popular. And the autumn leaves, or just the leaves on the ground of the forest. I'm positive this was deep in the woods, because this was probably my favorite one of the naturey ones from last time. Oh, one more. And another tree bark. And oh, the little trees. I like this one a lot too. This is like what it looks like when you're flying over nature in an airplane to go to Disney World or something. So my kind of nature is from the sky. So, except I don't like to fly either. But those are the two paper packs, Designer and Textured Designer. And then we have the Deeper in the Woods. I keep calling it Deeper in the Woods Map Pack. Once again, we've gone to a 12 pack. I know that before, when it was 24 packs, a lot of people told me they didn't want the map packs because they didn't need 24. It was too many for what they needed. And so I do like that CM has gone to the 12 pack of, these are 4.5 by 6.5. So if you want them as a 4 by 6, maybe for a pocket page or something, you can just easily trim them down. But then you also have them where you can use them to mat a photo. And I meant to have a photo to show, to demonstrate. But anyway, so we got some journal boxes. Another From the Sky, Forest Dreams. That same unidentified birch wood. Forest is a Place of Quiet Wonder. Little brown gingham. 2 map packs. A little dead tree out there in the forest. Some cut ends. These two. I feel like these two kind of go together and those two go together. So I like that they're on separate mats. This is that same kind of cartoon leaf, but on a green. Into the Woods. I did actually see the musical Into the Woods when I was in New York, I don't know, a couple years ago. So I can maybe use this for that. This is a picture of the woods. Life is better in the great outdoors. Cross section of a branch or tree. Wilderness Calls. Plaid. I do like this. Nature's beauty is a reminder. Just slow down. All right, another crosscut of a wood section. A tree and some pine cones. Some little leaves. And another tree, or 2 trees and another pine cone. Again, these two, I feel like, you could use these two on one layout, those from one layout. Another overhead of the trees. Soul for Escape. You got a lot of that crosscut wood. And then the wood. Adventure awaits in the woods. Probably why I don't want to go into the woods. I'm not big on adventure. Sorry, I think I'm editorializing too much. All right, the stickers. These stickers are a lot of that same photorealistic style. Not sure how I personally feel about that. I do like this one that's like the little rocks on the border. I usually do the borders last, but I kind of like that one. And then the row of trees, only one though, and then 2 fallen logs. And then just the images, a little arch of rocks, some leaves, a tree stump, acorn, 2 acorns, some stacked rocks, different leaves, pine cones. So those are the images. And then what I do find myself using the most with the titles lately are these ones that have words. Lost in beauty of the words, leave the laughter, every path leads to new discoveries, quote from John Muir, natural bliss, a couple more images too, peaceful moments and wild forest. All right, and then we've got 2 packs of embellishments that are like laser cut embellishments. So this is the main embellishment, but what's really interesting, and I don't know if I'll be able to show this on the camera, but the leaves right here have like a texture. They're flocked. They're kind of that fuzzy, flocking. It doesn't look like it's really picking up on camera, but these leaves are flocked, and this will fit a 4 by 6 photo, which of course I don't have. So this is 4.5 by 6.5, but that'll give you an idea kind of how it will fit with your photo. These look like they're way bigger, but I think they still will also fit a 4 by 6 photo. So, and then this one has that flocking on it again. Oh, if they're shimmery, it shows up in the light, but this one doesn't. So we got these 3 large frames. Then we cut a couple of smaller frames. 2 cross-section cuts of logs. This would actually work for like journaling or to make, definitely to make some embellishment clusters. These could also be journal boxes, little log slices. Then these two, I think these are just like ground cover foliage. I don't think they're trees. This one has the flocking, these two leaves. The Lost in Nature has the texture, the flocking. I can't help but like touch it. It's so soft. Wild Beauty. Serenity also has the flocking. Ugh, sorry, Wilderness and I Am Home in the Woods. So those are the embellishments. And then we have the laser borders. And again, it's that photorealistic and it has that flocking on. I feel like you can kind of see it here because you can see where the shiny from the printed is, and then you can see the reverse where the little textured flocking is. All right, and you get basically two of each, but they're not identical, which I love. So you could put these across on a layout. Oops, sorry, off the camera. You could put these across and they don't look exactly the same. So you got these two little ground covers. You got these two pieces that are like fallen logs, again with the flocking on there. The two birch trees, I'm gonna own it, birch trees. And then these kind of, like, this is more like a houseplant kind of leaf. But again, they're not identical. Are they opposite? Okay, it looks, well, they're not even exactly opposite. So you're not gonna be super symmetrical, but you could definitely use these. These actually might look nice as a vertical. And then the last two are just rows of trees. For some reason, this makes me think of Lord of the Rings, you know, the forest where the Ents live and they come running out of there. So even geeks who don't go in nature can find ways to use these embellishments, laser embellishments. And you do get two of each, which is nice. Sometimes we get one of each and you have to buy 2 packs if you want to do a facing page. And then finally, I think the thing I'm getting the most positive feedback for is the Evergreen Trees Decorative Border Punch. So this is a little bit different than most of our border punches in that it is a vertical border. You can see that when you punch them, you get this vertical. I guess I got to zoom back down. So you get a vertical border, but you end up with these great trees, and you couldn't have this height if they did it this way. And they could have done this as a standalone punch, and I think we would have been happy with that. But having it as a border gives you more options. You could always cut these pieces apart and make a horizontal border if you wanted. I like the vertical border, and I love the little trees. I think these will make really good little clusters. Like I say, I don't really go in nature, but maybe I need to. Someday I want to go see those synchronized fireflies. That would be in nature, right? So you could do something like that. But, you know, just make a little, doodad with the, your own with the border punch. So the Evergreen Trees Decorative Border Punch. Several of the tools that have come with these collections over the last few months have sold out really quickly. I think Creative Memories is trying really hard to manage their inventory better. If you notice, they've had a lot of punches that have gone 50% off for a limited time, usually the ones that go along with the different collections. And I think it's just because they overestimated how many people are going to want them, and so they've had too many, and they're trying to clear their shelves. Hopefully they're trying to clear their shelves so they can get us new stuff, but for whatever reason, they don't want to have to sell these at half price. They want us to buy them at full price, and so they're not just ordering as many to sit on their shelves. So just be aware that if you see something that you love in any one of these collections, sooner is better. Sooner is better than later if you want to be sure that you get it, because they'll be out there, but a lot of times it's going to be from one of these resale sites where they charge you a little bit extra and where your advisor doesn't get any sales credit for it. All right, and then of course, if you buy the bundle, which comes with the not the album cover, but the 2 papers, the 2 embellishments, the stickers, the mats, and the Evergreen Trees. I'm recording this on Friday at noon. As far as I know, everything is still available. If you purchase the bundle, not only do you save 10% on your total price, but you get the Deeper in the Woods project playbook for free. My friend Debbie Martin happened to do this one. And one of the things, I've done a couple of the project playbooks, and one of the things we found out from Creative Memories is they don't want us to do the whole, like use the whole pack. I was trying to use the whole pack and whatever. They don't want us to do that. So this is going to give you a few kind of starter layouts, and then you'll still have paper left to do your own thing with. So you get a cutting guide, and be sure to pay attention to the directions with the stripes. And then she shows you how to put the layouts together, and there's just directions. And this one is nice because you got 5 2-page spreads. They have told us going forward, total of 6 pages. So you're not going to get this many every time. All right, so that's the Deeper in the Woods collection. The Buy It All bundle does not include the album. The album is sold separately. We also have Noteworthy Simple Page Kit number 6. If you've been doing this as a series for the year, this one is a little bit more specific than others. It's pretty fishing themed, and it kind of has a dad's, like a Father's Day kind of theme. I think you could turn it into something else, but you might need to be a little bit creative. So you have the 2 pre-printed base pages, and then you have the pre-printed cut apart. You just follow the directions on the back, how to do the cut aparts for this one. And then here are the stickers that go with it. So if you didn't want the fishing stickers or the dad thing, I would just leave these off, and maybe I might even cut these pieces apart and put them on a different background, because this has like the little fishing lures. But if you happen to be fortunate enough to have pictures of fishing and or your dad with, and even better, fishing with your dad, then this will be just great for that. All right, so I have given them feedback that I wish that they wouldn't make these simple page kits quite so thematic. I like that there is a mom set and a dad set, but a lot of the people that I am working with lately don't necessarily have photos of their parent, or they've lost their parent, or, you know, it just, this one is not as universal as some of the others we've had. All right, so that is it for the paper products. Only other thing left is 3 new Happy Album covers. Creative Memories has kind of moved away from calling these Happy Albums. They're just calling them 6.75 by 10. I think because there's some confusion, there is another brand of planner out there called the Happy Planner, and people always call these Happy Planners. Happy Planner is its own trademark brand. These are Happy Album covers. So just 3 bright new colors, no decorations on the front. I have learned to really, really love the Happy Album size for gift albums. Of course, we have the 8x8 size. A lot of people like those. But the Happy Album size, I don't know. I just find it more versatile. I like the kind of the portrait orientation of this. So orange, I think this is called Grape, and this is called Petal Pink. And I have no idea how long these will be around. Like I say, I use a lot of the Happy Albums, so I try to keep a couple in stock as long as they're available, and then until they're gone from my inventory. But again, as always, if you really like this, if you think you'd use this, then sooner rather than later. Okay, so that's it. Deeper in the Woods, all the fun things that go along with that. And I hope that you will see something in here that you like. And if not, I hope that whenever our next product releases, you'll find something there. Thanks a lot, and happy scrapbooking.